Hello and welcome to the ESL Adjustment Webinar. This webinar provides basic information about the proposed ESL Extended Shelf Life adjustment to the base Class 1 skim price contained in the National Hearing Final Decision that will accompany a return to the higher of Class 1 mover if approved by producers. This webinar is a detailed ESL adjustment webinar and is a follow-up to the general webinar that has been released containing information on all proposed amendments. You can find a link to that webinar on the website listed on this slide. Some background on the base Class 1 skim milk price, also known as the Class 1 mover. The higher of the advanced Class 3 or Class 4 skim milk prices for the month was in place from 2000 until 2019. At industry's request, Congress mandated the Class 1 mover to be the average of advanced Class 3 and Class 4 skim milk prices for the month plus 74 cents. The change was implemented in May of 2019 and is in place today. The final decision proposes a return to the higher of with a rolling monthly Class 1 ESL adjustment that would apply to all pooled milk used to make ESL products. Why does the final decision recommend an ESL adjustment? The final decision found, based on the evidentiary record, a Class 1 ESL adjustment would provide for more orderly marketing of ESL products, which are made through a unique processing technology that results in unique product characteristics. All ESL products using ultra-pasteurized milk, as defined in the Pasteurized Milk Ordinance, would be subject to the adjustment. The definition is also found in the regulations at 21 CFR 131.3c. Under current reporting provisions, handlers report monthly Class 1 utilization and the type and amount of fluid milk products processed and sold. Under the proposed regulations, handlers would be required to report HTST and ESL products separately, ensuring accurate handler utilization is accounted for. The ESL adjustment would apply automatically to all ESL milk meeting the ultra-pasteurized definition. The ESL adjustment would apply to all ESL milk in all months, regardless of whether the adjustment is positive or negative, and handlers could not elect, meaning they could not opt in and out of ESL qualification. The Market Administrator's Office would review handler reports of HTST and ESL products and verify the accuracy of milk reported as ESL. All handlers are already subject to robust audits conducted by the FMMO program. If the ESL adjustment is implemented, FMMO audit teams would ensure the integrity of the ESL adjustment as it would become part of an ESL handler's audit plan. FMMO auditors would review and verify handler records, pasteurization reports, and State Health Department inspection records to ensure milk reported as used for ESL products was processed using ultra-pasteurizing equipment. Finally, handlers found misreporting ESL milk would be subject to an audit adjustment to the FMMO Producer Settlement Fund, as well as other remedies as authorized by current regulations. How would the ESL adjustment work? For milk used in ESL products, the base Class 1 skim milk price would be the Class 1 mover plus an ESL adjustment. The ESL adjustment would be announced simultaneously with the Class 1 mover on or before the 23rd of the prior month. How would the ESL adjustment be computed? You can see the equation set out on the slide. The ESL adjustment for a month would be calculated by starting with the average of for the current month. Add to that the result of the higher of minus the average of for each of the preceding 13 to 36 months averaged. Then subtract the higher of for the current month. The equation incorporates prices for the previous 13 to 36 months by averaging the differences between the higher of and the average of applicable during those months. This slide shows where the ESL adjustment would be found in section 1000.50R of the regulations and walks through the steps in the regulatory text. The basic equation in the proposed regulation is R1 plus R2 minus R3. we describe it here as step 1 plus step 2 minus step 3. Step 1 is to compute the simple average of the advanced Class 3 and Class 4 skim milk pricing factors for the current month. For step 2, we then add the results of step 1 to the following. First, determine the higher of the advanced Class 3 or Class 4 skim milk pricing factors for each of the preceding 13 to 36 months. Second, compute the average of the advanced Class 3 and Class 4 skim milk pricing factors for each of the preceding 13 to 36 months. Third, for each of the preceding 13 to 36 months, subtract the average of the advanced Class 3 and Class 4 skim milk pricing factors from the higher of the advanced Class 3 and Class 4 skim milk pricing factors. And fourth, compute the average of the results from the difference in the calculations made in the last step. Now we have the result of step 2, which we add to the current month's average of from step 1. Finally, step 3. From the result of step 2, subtract the higher of the advanced Class 3 and Class 4 skim milk pricing factors for the current month. That is the Class 1 ESL adjustment for the month. Let's walk through an actual example of how the ESL adjustment would have been computed for the month of January 2023. As background, in January 2023, the advanced Class 3 skim milk pricing factor was $9.54 a hundredweight. The advanced Class 4 skim milk pricing factor was $11.62 a hundredweight, and the higher of for the month was $11.62 per hundredweight. The first thing we'll do is step 1. Get the average of for the month by adding the advanced Class 3 skim milk pricing factor of $9.54 a hundredweight to the advanced Class 4 skim milk pricing factor of $11.62 a hundredweight. Divide by 2 to get the average, $10.58 a hundredweight. Step 2. The chart shows the advanced Class 3 and Class 4 skim milk pricing factors for the previous 13 to 36 months. That's January 2020 through December 2021. First, we determine the higher of the advanced Class 3 or Class 4 skim milk pricing factor for each month. The higher amount for each month is reflected in the third column of numbers in the chart. For example, in January 2020, the advanced Class 3 was higher, so the chart shows $12.65. In December 2021, the advanced Class 4 was higher, so the chart shows $11.52. Next, we compute the average of the advanced Class 3 and Class 4 skim milk pricing factors for each of the months listed in the fourth column of numbers on the chart. For example, the average of January 2020 advanced prices, that's $12.65 plus $9.28 divided by 2 is $10.97 as shown on the chart. Next, we get the difference between the higher of and the average of for each of the 24 months reflected in the last column on the right. In other words, the higher of minus the average of. We average all of the 24 monthly differences, which for January 2023 came to $1.58 as shown in the bottom right cell. $1.58 is the rolling adjuster, which we add to the average of we computed in step 1. That means we add $10.58 plus $1.58 to get $12.16. We're almost done. For step 3, we take the $12.16 we just computed and subtract the higher of for the current month. So we compute $12.16 minus $11.62 for a result of 54 cents, which is the Class 1 ESL adjustment for January 2023. That means For milk used in ESL products produced and sold in January 2023, the handler was accountable to the market-wide pool for $12.16. That's $11.62 plus the 54-cent adjustment. While this example shows a positive adjustment, in practice, the adjustment could be positive or negative. The adjustment calculation may seem a little complicated, so don't worry. You won't have to compute the ESL adjustment independently each month. USDA would calculate the adjustment and publish it on the announcement of advanced prices and pricing factors released on or before the 23rd of each month. Finally, AMS has posted explainers in multiple formats on the AMS Dairy webpage if you would like to review in more detail how the equation would work, including the Excel sheet for the example above. Since the Secretary has issued the final decision in the proceeding and ex parte has ended, AMS may now answer substantive questions about the ESL adjustment and other topics. Please email the FMMO hearing inbox at the address above with any questions. You can also refer to the AMS hearing webpage for additional hearing documents and education, including Class 1 mover explainers and a decision contents webinar.